I just beat Pirate Yakuza. Literally a second ago, I rolled credits, and here we are. So, a little bit ago, you saw that I uploaded my, talking about Kiwami 2, because that is as far as I've played. And I thought it was a good idea to jump right into the newest one that was coming out. I sort of wanted to be a part of the hype for once, As a new Yakuza fan, obviously, I played Zero, and I knew Infinite Wealth was coming out. But I think at the release of Infinite Wealth, I had only played Zero, I think. Or maybe I hadn't by that point. I don't even know. So this is the first time as a fan, I think, that I was there for a new game, and I wanted to play it. So I was like, you know what? Spoilers be damned, I'm going to sit down and play it. And you know what? I was fine. The whole premise of this game is that he loses his memory. So essentially, I was right there with him. I had no idea what was going on except for whatever I knew from Zero to Kiwami 2. That's all I've played up until this point. And the only thing I was really lost on, other than I'm sure some references that went over my head, was Sajima. I think he's a Yakuza 4 or 5 character, so I don't know anything about him just quite yet. But, I'm making my way through the series. Hopefully, I'm going to get through most of the series this year. These games are long and take quite a bit of time. So far, I've beaten 2 games this year, so we're getting there. But we're just talking about Pirate Yakuza for now. And I liked it. It was really good. Really good? I don't know. It was a good time. It's a Yakuza game, so the base quality is already pretty good. Like, the mini games are fun. Characters are wacky. Story is pretty good for the most part. I think my only real complaint, or actually, let's take a step back. I do have 2 actual complaints. If you're looking at this footage right now, assuming you're like full screened in HD, you can see that the shadows and other stuff look shitty. That's because I was forced about halfway through my playthrough to play with DLSS balanced on. Why? Because this game, for some reason, during ship battles, just kept crashing for me. Oh, and I looked it up. Someone said you have to update your NVIDIA drivers and play on DLSS balance. And I was like, that's stupid. But yeah, they were right. So the only way you're actually going to see me, I change it midway through here because it has never crashed as I'm walking around. It only is during ship battles. But I had to play like 2 major bosses twice because it would crash midway through. And I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, that's really annoying. I hate DLSS. I hate all of these. I mean, in my Ninja Gaiden 2 Black video, I talked about a lot of the whole modern things that are happening with Unreal Engine and stuff like that. Even though this is an Unreal Engine, obviously, frame generation and DLSS and all this type of shit. It's the bane of my existence. I hate it. It makes all these games look so shitty. But other than that, the game ran perfectly fine. Just for some reason, it kept crashing. I'm sure that will get patched at some point. But that's a real issue, and I don't think it should be happening, especially on an engine like this that is pretty well versed. I mean, how many games have they made at this point, right? Kiwami 2, Yakuza 6, this game, Man Who Erased His Name, Like a Dragon, Yakuza 8, whatever the fuck it's called, Infinite Wealth. You know what I mean? They've had enough games in this engine where I feel like it shouldn't be that much of an issue. But, all right, talking about the actual game. I think my only real complaint is I think it dragged a little bit. So it took me around 25, 30 hours to complete the story in this game. And Yakuza 0 took me quite a while. I think about 30, 35 hours, right, for the main story. And that's like one of the longer stories in the series. And Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2 both took me around 25 hours. So this one dragged on longer than I thought. I thought this would be a pretty quick Yakuza game. Now, I actually don't spend nearly the amount of time that a lot of people will. I actually really like Yakuza games for that reason. I think these games can last you 20 hours or they can last you 100. And I think that's really great. It allows you to sort of pick and choose. Do you want to do this side quest? You don't have to. Are you missing out? Sure, maybe a little bit. But it's not mandatory. Do you want to do these mini games and reach high scores and get a reward for it or all that type of stuff? Yeah, you can do all that if you want to. But the main story is for the most part, what I focus on. I did that in Yakuza 0 and really regretted it. I ended up going back and replaying a little bit of it just because I sort of missed out on a lot of stuff because I am not an RPG guy. So I was just not used to that. For me, in a lot of games, it's like, well, just play the main story, obviously. But no, these games are carried by their side stuff. And I think this game wasn't. like weirdly, I think a lot of this stuff is sort of just taken from Infinite Wealth and maybe also like a dragon. So I didn't really feel all too interested in exploring and really doing all like the side character stuff. Like obviously I did all the dark instruments and like the mandatory stuff, or not mandatory, but like stuff I knew that was important. But like little side characters, I would just sort of most for the most part be like, all right, see you later. You know what I mean? Just because I don't know. You know, I know that when I eventually reach infinite wealth, all this stuff is going to be there. Like I know the crazy taxi cologne that's in this game, which I thought was really charming. I know that's also from Infinite Wealth and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I actually for the first time, I didn't spend too much time on the side stuff. I mean, obviously I did. I got my fair share. I explored all the world. I explored the world. I actually really liked the bounties. I thought those were fun and stuff like that. I mean, you can see looking at my map here, I still have all those blue little side quest things. Like I really didn't want to go like unless I came across it. Like if I came across it while walking, I would complete it. But I'm not hunting and going out of my way for the most part. There was the one where you have to like meet the girls for one of your crewmates. Or for Masura, is that his name? Like I'll do ones like that, but I'm not really going out of my way. Stuff I really liked was the combat. So far, from Yakuza 0, and then Kiwami 1 and 2, this is my favorite combat, by far. I know a lot of people love Zero's combat. I am mixed on it. I think it's really good and really in-depth, but I do think that like fighting multiple people is annoying, and I think that the upgrade paths are like really confusing if you've never done it before or don't really know what you're supposed to do. And in this game, it's much more simplified, and it just is smooth. Like, I think, at least with Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 1, you were, like, locked onto a target, and I didn't really feel like I had the fluidity that I needed to move around these large crowds and beat up multiple people at once. But with this, especially while playing as the pirate, I don't know what the actual name is, but, you know, what you're seeing right now, you can just go crazy, swing the swords around large crowds of people and just wipe out, like, multiple people at once. It was so satisfying. Like there's like air combos and like all the heat actions are super cool. I really liked it. This is by far my favorite combat, and I hope they do this kind of stuff moving forward. Like I know the last two games have been turn-based, and you know they're sort of done with the whole action stuff. At least that's what it seems. And I haven't got to the turn-based stuff yet. I'm kind of scared that I won't like it, but I've heard from everyone else it's really good. I'm sure it'll be fine. But if they, with the next mainline game, carry over this type of smooth combat, I'm going to be really excited because it felt so great. The story, like I said, was sort of dragging a little bit. The ending I really liked. Now, can I talk about this without spoilers? So I already got spoiled. It's kind of hard. These games have been around for a long time. Spoiler warning. You can click off the video now. The game's good. Yeah. All right. So I know that Kiryu gets cancer. And it sort of looked like at the end of this game that he's dead. I don't know if that's the case or not because I didn't play Infinite Wealth, and it seemed very sad and somber. So my takeaway after beating this game was I gotta catch up because in the next game I don't know if Kiryu's gonna be around very long. And if you know what's going on in the main story, please do not tell me in the comments. I might just straight up avoid the comments entirely. For this video because I don't want to risk it. But yeah, I thought like Noah I really liked. She's not or he's not as good as like Haruko, or is there another kid? Who are you with in Kiwami 2? Oh, dude, my brain is mush right now. That might be Haruko. But Noah was charming. I think he was very easily a character that could have been annoying. And I thought exploring, so like you have this hook and you can sort of like parkour almost a little bit to get treasure chests. I thought that was really fun. And overall, I had a good time. I've seen other people say it dragged a little bit, so I know I'm not the only one. I think it's just the fact that there's only 5 acts, and each act takes you like 10 hours, it seems. And yeah, I think they could have expedited that a little bit. I really liked the ship combat. I think at first it was like slow and I didn't really know what I was doing. But once you start to upgrade your ship and really get into it and like, get the movement down, you're like drifting back and forth, like taking out ships left and right. It was really fun. And also the customization is pretty crazy. Like I saw this clip where people just had Daigo like like sails, and it was like a funny clip. It got like a bunch of likes or whatever, but it was like unmodded gameplay, by the way, which was funny. Like the ship stuff is really good. It's not like super in depth, but it's like surprisingly in depth, and I thought it was really fun. And there's definitely a lot of replayability. The environments were really nice. Like Mad Atlantis was very pretty. And yeah, that's kind of all my takeaway. My main takeaway is I got to catch up. I got a lot of games to play, but I want to be there for the next mainline game, which should be next year. I imagine they come out yearly. So, yeah, I definitely recommend this game. Would I recommend it as someone who is like a first timer? No. I think if you've played at least a couple games, you'll be fine. But the ending to this game definitely has me wondering what I'm missing out on. But yeah, I liked it.